inside me cries for order. Everything inside me wants to hide. Is this shadow of an angel or a warrior? If God is pleased with me, why am I so terrified? Someone tell me I am only dreaming. Somehow help me see with heaven's eyes. And before my head agrees, my heart is on its knees. Holy is He, blessed am I. Trembling heart, somehow I believe that you chose me. I'll hold you in the beginning, you will hold me in the end. Every moment in the middle, make my heart your Bethlehem. This time we've waited for a promise. All this time you've waited for my arms. Did you wrap yourself inside the unexpected, so we would know that love would go that far? Trembling heart, somehow I believe that you chose me. I'll hold you in the beginning, you will hold me in the end. Every moment in the middle, make my heart your Bethlehem. The only thing my heart can offer is a vacancy. I'm just a girl, nothing more, but I am willing, I am yours. I'll hold you in the beginning, you will hold me in the end. Every moment in the middle, make my heart your Bethlehem. Be born in me.
I just want to say thank you, Myra, for being here. I know it means a lot to have you here and on this Sunday, so thank you for being with us. I also have to share with you, a couple of weeks ago, I stood up here and I just said, my God, the music, it was just so almost like if it was made for the talk that I did 2 weeks ago. It's just God's grace that shows up at Unity on the Bay. And Dale, our music director, called me after services and says, you do remember that we have monthly meetings so that I can put the music together based on your talks. And so I said, from now on, I'm going to just call Dale Grace. So, but that was just another example, right? Because what I want to talk to you today is about Mary, is about the person, the character, the symbolism, the significance of Mary. And I have a really strong connection to Mary. So much so that I'm almost a little embarrassed to be sharing with you some bad jokes about Mary this morning. But why were Mary and Joseph considered to be such good business people? Why? Because they produced such a great prophet. All right, here's a better one. I think a better one. So there was a little boy who wanted a bike for Christmas. You know, he had some behavioral issues, right? So he was really hoping he was going to get one. So he actually decided to write a special letter to Jesus. It says, Jesus, if I get a bike for Christmas, I promise to be good for a week. It's like, ooh, a week. That's, scratch that off. Jesus, if I get a bike for Christmas, I promise to be good for 4 days. That's a little tough. Scratch that off. Jesus, if I get a bike for Christmas, I promise to be good for one. He's like, forget it. He ran over to his mother's room, picked up a statue of Mary, wrapped it up in a towel, put it in a drawer, and said, Jesus, if you ever want to see your mother again. I'll stick with the first one for the second service. All right. I do want to talk to you about Mary. I want to talk to you about this character, this person that I've always really felt very connected to. And there is something about Mary. There's something about Mary that has really inspired me over the years. Actually, that song that Myra sang with Ruth right before the meditation. I remember being in the car when I've had very challenging and difficult situations that are sort of playing in my mind, and I'll put that song on. And I can remember times where it's just brought me to tears. You know, just feeling that connection to what it inspires in me, you know, this greater understanding. I went to Catholic schools all growing up. My first one was Our Lady of the Lakes, right, in Miami Lakes. The high school was Chaminade Madonna. Chaminade was actually a saint who created the Marianist Society, and so it was a group of individuals who were really dedicated to what Mary symbolized and what Mary meant. And so for me, this conversation about Mary is really personal. I remember just a couple of days ago was December 8th. And it's actually the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. Anybody else go to Catholic schools growing up? Maybe, no? A few of us. So in my Catholic school, for December 8th, we would all go out in the parking lot with a statue of Mary, and we would just walk up and down and sing all these songs to Mary. And I was thinking about one of them this week. Hail Mary, gentle woman, for those of you who may remember. It says, gentle mother, quiet light, morning star, so strong and bright. Second line is peaceful dove, teach us wisdom, teach us love. And that to me is really what Mary signifies: strength, brightness, that light that is within us, wisdom, and the love to allow it to not only be in us, but to know the ways in which we get to express it, the ways in which we give birth to it in our actions and in the ways in which we show up in the world. And I know that during Christmas, we really get focused on Jesus. And rightly so, right? Like Jesus does represent the birthing of that Christ essence within us. But I have to tell you, the more I sit with the story, the Christmas story, I really think the protagonist is Mary. I really think that there is such power in the ways in which Mary shows up, because Mary is so needed, not only to give birth to this light and do the preparation work to be able to give birth to the light, but to rear it, to allow it to evolve, to continue to support the evolution of that light in the world. And so I want to share with you about that. Now, I want to say that in Unity, it is really important to know that we don't actually have an official position as to the question of like the virgin birth, right, or the virginity of Mary and some of the ways in which the story shows up, because we really believe that whether you believe it to be factual, whether you believe it to be symbolic, we can all come to that understanding on our own and together recognize the metaphysical significance and what it can mean for us. And so it's really left for each of us to determine our connection to that story. And this idea of a virgin birth, actually, or a virgin birth towards a savior, is found in a lot of cultures. It's found in a lot of religions. Maya was the mother of Buddha and was said to have been a virgin. Isis, the mother of the Egyptian savior Horus. And so what I get from that, though, is that it's so important, the metaphysical understanding of what it means to be pure and open to giving birth to the light is so significant that all cultures and all religions needed some symbolism for it so that it can be sort of a guiding post for how we show up in the world. Now, I wanted to talk about Mary as the hero and really look at what she symbolizes and the perspective that she brings to the birthing story. Now, there isn't really that much about Mary in the canonized Bible. You know, we have the birthing story, right, and the Annunciation. We have, like, at the beginning of Jesus' life, and then she kind of plays a supporting role in some of the stories within the Bible. But really interesting, by the way, in Islam, the Quran actually has, it's the only book in the Quran named after a woman is the book of Mary, or the chapter of Mary. And in Islam, there is a lot more information. But so I wanted to go even beyond what was in the Bible, and I looked up what Mary, the name, means. And it's the Hebrew root of it is Miriam. And I love this. They're not sure what the root definition or the root word of Miriam was. They think it is either beloved or rebellious. And I just love that because I think she's both. And I think we are all called to be both. As we love God with all our hearts, as we connect and we are the beloved of God and God is our beloved, aren't we also being invited to be rebels? To be rebels for God, to push through what challenges may be going through in our lives, to be rebels against systems of oppression, systems that say that one person is better than the other, to be rebels, to push through any limiting thoughts or limiting beliefs, to really be rebels, to see a different way of being, and to continue to open up the pathways for us to step into it more fully, all at the same time of knowing we are the beloved. We are the beloved expressions of this God. We are the beloved expression of the peace that is within us and is there to be shared. And it's really a rebellion against conformity, our own conformity. How many times have we conformed to the way things are? How many times have we not looked out and tried to grasp the things that we dream of because we feel like we have to conform to society or conform to what our parents told us that we should do or be, or our loved ones even, just without realizing, can invite us into that conformity. And so it just reminds me that here, as we stand on this time of preparation and understanding of ourselves as the birthers of this Christ essence, this Christ energy, and really through that a whole new reality, that it is all about renewing our minds over and over again and not conforming to the way that things are and really stepping into the ways in which we are meant to live more fully. Romans chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." And so as we move into this time of preparation, as we move into this time of being more conscious about what we're birthing in life, for us to step back and ask, what is the will of God in this moment? What is the will of God that I am being able to connect to and allow to be more fully expressed, not only in my life, but in the life of humanity? What is the will of God that this Christmas we can say yes to more fully? Now, part of a hero's journey, and I do believe Mary to be the hero in this story, part of the hero's journey is going from the known into the unknown. Going to what feels safe to what may not feel so safe, but that there is something that pushes us to move beyond that safety, that conformity, and be willing to travel and journey into a new way of being. Now, in this hero's journey, we tend to have, or there tends to be, different people that will support, that will inspire, that will push the hero along the journey. And through that, the hero all of a sudden has a new way of seeing themselves, a new skill set, or something that they can use for their own evolution, and they tend to bring it back to their home, right? Like they go on a journey, realize some truth, and then come home to experience it and to share it with other people. For Mary, her journey began when the archangel Gabriel shows up and tells her she's going to bear the Son of God. Now, if you don't read the story, in its detail, you think that Mary was just like, all right, cool. No, there was trepidation, there was fear. This announcement was such a big announcement that there was something within her that didn't feel so comfortable with it. There was hesitation. But Gabriel consoles her and gets her fired up and gets her to recognize the beauty of what's about to happen. And in that shift that she has, she then goes on to say, "Here I am, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word." How easily can we say the same thing? When a big opportunity, when a big dream, when a new way of being is we're being invited into a new way of being, how many of us can just say, well, here I am, God, use me. Here I am, God, use me. In the face of something as big as what she was about to experience. Here I am, God, use me. And the question for me is, actually, I say it pretty easily, but do I feel it? Right? When I say those words, can I really embody what that means? Can I really allow myself with an open heart and with an open mind, realize that whatever is happening, whatever the challenge may be, it's really an opportunity, and I have the willingness to step into the gift, even though the gift may bring itself additional challenges. For me, it's important to ask ourselves, right? Like, can we say, here I am, God, use me, and believe it, and not get so caught up in the fear? What are some of the dreams that we have held back on? What are some of the opportunities that we haven't stepped into? What are some of the ways in which God has been trying to use us, and we've been fighting it along the way? Everything hard, though, that we are asked to do, through the power of grace, I believe, has the power to transform us. And this season is really about aligning with the evolutionary power of transformation. When we talk about Advent being a time of preparation, it's not about just, preparing to be transformed. The preparation itself is the transformation taking place within us. And if there's something that's been nudging at you, asking for you to say yes to, your own sacred yes, this might be the perfect time to get into the flow of the energy of that powerful yes and be able to write it into a new way of being. Mary shows us the beauty of saying a sacred yes, that doing the will of God, that being open to that which is being birthed through us, not only changes us, but it changes the world. It changes humanity. It changes the way in which we relate to each other. It is our legacy. The ways in which we say our sacred yes to the will of God is our legacy in this world, and is the energy that we leave for all people to really be uplifted by. And so I want to share with you 3 things that I learned from really looking at Mary as the protagonist and Mary as the model of how I can prepare for what is to come. And the first thing is that I need to be prepared to be used by God. The second, that I need to put faith in God. And the third, that I need to be in service to God, in service to truth. You see, being prepared for God is being willing to look at the things that we need to look at to prepare the way, to purify, right? Like that idea of the virgin birth is really about purification. And so what are the things that we need to do to purify, to clean out the cobwebs in our closets, right? And to be ready for when that nudge comes, for when that opportunity shows up. And it's really interesting because Mary is this unmarried young woman, right? And many people would see her as not being inadequate for what God has prepared. But the reality is the Bible is filled with stories of inadequate people or people that don't consider themselves worthy enough to be seen as worthy by the Spirit of God, and to be seen as worthy by the opportunity that is showing up. And so part of our work is to really do some of that work, to start feeling ourselves more adequate, more worthy of the gifts, not only that we have, the gifts that we are giving birth to. And so this is the part of the process where we pray, where we meditate, where we really align ourselves and engage in life from a place of worthiness. It's about cultivating, actually Brené Brown says, it's about engaging in our lives from a place of worthiness. It means cultivating the courage, compassion, and connection to wake up in the morning and think, I am enough. Imagine if that is our first thought in the morning. I am enough. I am worthy. I am worthy of being used by God in ways that I may not even imagine just yet. It's also maybe an opportunity, as Mary had Archangel Gabriel, right? Like nudging her when she was a little fearful. Seek out your own angels. We all have friends or family members that we tend to call our angels. Seek out your own guardian angel to be that support system that tells you you are worthy. That opportunity that is showing up when you speak your sacred yes, things will show up. And so figure out a way to build that kind of community. People that will tell you, you were made for this. I can do it for you. You were made for this. You were made for this moment. You were made for this time. We were made to say yes to the ways in which God is looking to use us to support the continued evolution and upliftment of humanity. Second thing is to put our faith in God. You know, when Mary went to tell her cousin Elizabeth that she had been told that she was going to bear this child, Elizabeth actually says about Mary, she who has believed, she who has believed, she who has faith. And when we are able to then say our sacred yes, can we put our trust and faith in God? See, I don't think that we have to be fearless in order to say yes to what God has in store for us. We just have to be willing. And in the moment of our willingness showing up with an open heart and with an open mind, then is the opportunity to step and anchor ourselves in a greater sense of faith. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." See, she said yes, but that was just the beginning. Once she said yes, things began to happen. Challenges began to show up, right? Like she gave birth in a manger, right? Like she had to get on a donkey and travel to another land to give birth to Jesus. And so it doesn't mean that once we say yes, things are going to be easy, but it means that once we say yes, We're invited to a stronger and deeper connection with the opportunity, with God, and we can put our faith in it. You know, the idea of just recognizing that we may not know all the details, but it has already been worked out in the mind of God. And in that process, whatever process it is, where we just say, here I am, God, use me, and I have faith that I may not know the way, but that I'm being led into the greater gift for me and through me for humanity, then we get to the third piece, which is we have to be in service to that which we have been given birth to, right? Because one thing is for us to just say, all right, we're birthing a new way of understanding ourselves. We are birthing this Christ essence, right? But to be of service to it, because sometimes it's just that inkling, right? Maybe it's just that thing that is nudging you, that opportunity, that way of being that is being asked to be spoken through you or live through you. But then we have to support its manifestation, its evolution, right? Like Jesus, right, was born a babe, but had to be reared. And Mary did that in service to this greater idea. Mary was there to support its continued evolution until it was fully manifested in that one connection of Jesus and Christ together, this divinity that we have as a model for who and what we can be also, or how we can express also. And so she was in service to the light that she bore, and through its birth continued to support it. And so to me, that's also a powerful way in which we can, in this moment, when we say sacred yes, when we step into a greater sense of faith, is also asking, how can I be service to this that is being birthed through me? Continued prayer, continued support, continued deepening to support its continued evolution. And so Romans chapter 12:11 says, never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. I also want to remind us that as we move through this transformation, we have to continue to recommit ourselves to it. It is a continual work, but that is really at the heart of Christmas. That yes, the Christ is within us, but that's just half of it. Half of it is that Christ is within us. We have to be willing to share it. We have to be willing to live it. We have to be willing to express it. And it's done moment by moment, challenge by challenge, opportunity by opportunity. So ask yourself this Christmas, not only how you can manifest and embody your own divinity more fully, but how are you destined to make a difference in the world? How are you destined to make a difference in the lives of those that are around you? The real miracle of Christmas is whatever miracle is waiting to be birthed through you. The miracles that are in you to be expressed. And so through the joy, through the love, through the peace of Christmas, this miracle is born. Join me, and join Mary in saying your sacred yes and truly living this, here I am, God, use me. And miracles will begin to show up. That is, for me, the Christmas story. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Juan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am worthy to be used by God. Repeat after me. Yes, yes. Folks at home, don't hit the screen. Just say it lightly. Yes, yes. What an incredible message, right? What an incredible message today. Please give another round of applause to Reverend Juan. Mary signifies light, wisdom, strength, you know? She sounds like a lady boss, right? Right? I wanted to play Mary in the Christmas story, but they said I was too tall. Whatever. I love that Juan's message is about Mary being a hero, you know? Mary always seemed beloved, but rebellious. Like, I could just see her, like, on a motorcycle, being part of the Mayans group with a cut on, you know what I mean? Like, that is something that I want to look up to. That is something I want to be like, you know? Here I am, God, use me. And I know that, like, in saying those words, a little bit of fear comes up, like Reverend Juan stated, and that's okay, right? Where it's like, use me, I'm here for you. But then that little voice behind is like, but use me lightly, right? We are enough. We are enough. Incredible, incredible message. Thank you, Reverend Juan. Here at Unity on the Bay, we believe in the spiritual law of giving and receiving, and now is your opportunity to give in gratitude. We have envelopes, but if you want to go green, you can text GIVE to 833-245-5645. If you want an envelope, just raise your hand, okay? And our ushers will get an envelope to you. The info is also on the screens behind you. Folks at home, you see the screens, right? All the info is right there for you, too. You know, an easy thing to do is go into your contacts, right, and just put that as Unity, right? Put as a Unity Gratitude, put that, right? And then every Sunday, it's really easy to set up. You do it once, and you're done. It's a lot easier. Anyway, so I'm going to give you a few moments in silence to prepare your gift. I'll be thinking about the hat that Sarah Jessica Parker had on at Sex and the City. Maybe Amazon has a cheaper version. All right, we will hold our gifts to our heart, or our hands to our heart, and we will bless these gifts together. Divine love, that I am. Blessed is all that I give and all that I receive. Let's take a moment to bless our incredible children. The children are in their own time of inspiration and learning in our kids zone. There are some here, some in-house, and some are at home. Let's just bless them. Let's get our hands together. Children, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. Remember that we're here to pray with you. Prayer chaplains, I'm going to call you guys up. If something moved you, if something came up with you and you don't want to take it home with you, sit with one of the prayer chaplains. That's what they're here for, and they're just so incredible at what they do. There is never a time that you sit with one of them and you don't walk away lighter. For some reason, you feel like there's a solution. So please take advantage of our prayer chaplains today. And I want to give a big special thanks to Miss Myra Alvarez for joining us today. She drove like 45 hours to be here. The incredible and beautiful Miss Noel doing our meditation for today. And with that, I'm going to invite Reverend Juan on up for a prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. Why are you laughing at me?
You're just funny. I don't know if anybody's told you before, but you're a little funny.
A little bit. A little bit.
Send me some jokes, please. Please send me some jokes. All right.
I want to continue my job up here, so I'm not going to answer that.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for coming. I'm going to invite us to stand so that we can say our prayer for protection. Let us affirm it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's join.